She is amazingly bold and beautiful, courageous and dedicated. She is encouraging and enlightened, faithful and fair, generous and graceful, honest and humble and hardworking. She is immensely independent, a joyfully kind and loving mother, mentor, noteworthy, outstanding, passionate queen. She is ready, stunningly smart, too tough to undo. She is visionary, wise, xenial, youthful, and zappy. She is your mother, your daughter, your sister, your friend. She is one of us. She is all of us on any given day. Good afternoon and welcome to the Women's Fund of Winston-Salem's 13th Annual Luncheon. I am Wanda Stark of WXII 12 News, and I'm delighted and honored to be your MC once again this year. I'm also proud to be one of over 700 members of the Women's Fund of Winston-Salem. We are pleased that so many of you are here with us today on this rainy and cold day. You look so lovely. Your presence warms us. We're happy to see fund members, supporters, elected officials, and other special guests. I hope that you will all be inspired by the work of this diverse, passionate group of women who are making a real difference in our community. Our theme for today's event is Champions of Change, the urgency of now. We encourage you to take photos for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and please use the hashtags Women of WS. I would also like to take this time to thank our generous luncheon sponsors you will find listed in your program. Special thanks going out to our returning presenting sponsor, Wake Forest Baptist Health. Our platinum leadership sponsors, the Winston-Salem Foundation, the Winston-Salem Journal, and Winston-Salem Monthly Magazine. And our gold partner sponsors, Flo Honda, Reynolds American, and K-PASA Media Network, Fairway Outdoor Advertising, Forsyth Magazine, Wells Fargo, and People Development Partner. Let's give them all a big hand. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. Julianne Freischlag to bring us greetings from Wake Forest Baptist Health. And following Dr. Freischlag, Annette Lynch will provide our invocation. And after that, we encourage you to enjoy your lunch and the company of those around you. Our program will resume at 12:20. Now, let's welcome Dr. Julianne Freischlag. Make sure I'm not taking any of your pages. You got yours?
So good afternoon. What a miserable day. Except my son says it's snowing in Baltimore, so it could be worse to do that. No one ever told me there was weather here, so I'm getting used to that. So I want to welcome all here and really want to tell you how wonderful it is for us at Wake Forest Baptist Health, as well as everyone else affiliated, to be here with the Women's Fund. The theme today is Champions of Change, the urgency of now, and there's nothing more complex or changing faster than healthcare these days. One of the reasons I've just walked in the door, as you notice, is we were discussing, where are we going with healthcare, not only in the state of North Carolina, but throughout the country, and where are the winds of change? Not to go into politics, because it tends to always create havoc, but 100 women did get into the Congress this year, and so that's wonderful. And this was the first time my husband and I voted in North Carolina, and we've never not voted with our driver's license, so I didn't realize we were voting on that, but I made her look at my driver's license, because where I came from, they didn't believe who you were. And my husband, Phil, has been a Republican all his life, and I've been a Democrat all our lives, so we usually balance each other out. When we finished voting, he asked me, he said, "Who did you vote for?" And I said, "Well, you tell me first." He voted for every woman on the ticket because he said he's tired of the men messing it up. That was my husband. And that's the truth. He said, I didn't look at anything. I just know they'll solve the problems. They'll get things done. And it can only get better from here. So that's to quote Phil. So when you see him, he did it. So I have one quote for you today by Jody Hills. And it's called, I Am Here. I am here. I have the courage to believe that matters. I have the strength to make a difference, to be different. Even with an empty hand, I have the means to give. I am free to become, to fail, to learn. I have the advantage of hope. I have the opportunity to love and to be loved. I have the wisdom to know it's all a gift, all of it. When I make my decision on how I'm going to live this day, and it is a decision, I joyfully, responsibly, gratefully face the world and say, I am here. So I am so glad you're all here, and Phil and I are glad that we're in North Carolina now for a year and a half, and I'm really glad all those women are in D.C. Thank you.
Please join with me in a prayer of thanksgiving. Almighty God, we come to you this afternoon in thanksgiving for our many blessings, for this gathering of generous individuals who support opportunities to build economic security for women and girls in Forsyth County, for a commitment to the core values of philanthropy, inclusion, community, empowerment, and social justice, for giving us open hearts to reach out to one another and to grow in our appreciation and understanding of one another, for providing each of us with a distinctive voice to use in positive ways, for our independent and creative minds, that we may challenge them to form new ideas for the future and be insightful with the existing challenges we face, and for the vision of those who created the Winston-Salem Foundation and the Women's Fund of Winston-Salem, organizations and people whose work on behalf of our community continues to make a difference. We thank you for the food that sustains us, for the actions and interactions that fulfill us, and for the inspiration at times when we need it most. For these many blessings and opportunities, we give you praise and thanks, and we ask for your guidance as we strive to create a better community for all. Amen.
Please continue to eat as I read the thesis statement that has been prepared for me by the staff of the Winston-Salem Foundation. On behalf of the members of the Women's Fund Board of Directors, I want to thank each of you for spending time with us this afternoon. For the past 13 years, the Women's Fund of Winston-Salem has strived to improve the lives of women and girls in our community. It is because of your generous support that the fund has been able to award more than $1.4 million to support women and girls in Forsyth County. Our luncheon theme this year is Champions of Change, the urgency of now. We feel that this theme demonstrates our belief in the power of one's voice and how our actions have the potential to create real change in our community. Our members are the driving force behind the success of the fund, and I want to thank each of you for your commitment to our mission. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the Women's Fund Board of Directors. Our board consists of members of the fund, many who also serve as committee chairs, and who help support the day-to-day operations for the fund, along with staff from the Winston-Salem Foundation. Our board is deeply committed to finding ways to move the needle on issues impacting women and girls. This year, the fund released our advocacy playbook to help us all become better advocates. We have also been educating ourselves by listening to the experiences of individuals impacted by the systemic issues we're working to address. Our goal is to continue to seek partnerships in our community to work alongside those who also strive to secure the economic well-being of women and girls. I would especially like to recognize and thank our board members who are rotating off of the board at the end of this year. Please stand as I call your name. Henry Brown, Elizabeth Jeter, Gemma Saluda, Amy Justice, and Melody Thompson. I want to thank each of you personally for your board service and for your commitment to the fund for so many years. Also, on behalf of the board directors, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our newest board members. Please stand as I call your name. Elizabeth Dam and Jamie Hunt. I also want to thank those who made this luncheon possible, including our sponsors again, and a special thanks to Claudia Kennedy, Claire Giffen, and the extraordinary Marketing Events and Resource Development Committee. And I'd also like to thank Gwen Clements and the Women's Fund's Grants Committee and the Grants Review Team. Yes. The Women's Fund is proud to be an initiative of the Winston-Salem Foundation. One of the foundation's new priority areas is building an inclusive economy. The foundation is also committed to advancing racial equity across all of its work in the community. For the fund, this translates into increased opportunities to create new ways to disrupt systems that are strategically designed to hold women back. It also means that we're going to be working to understand barriers faced by women of color and to enhance the impact of our work in the community. As a fund, we too are committed to evolve so that we can meet the needs of all women in our community. A very special thank you again to Wanda Stark for not only being a member, but for serving again as MC for us this year. It is our hope today that you will find our time together informative and motivating, discovering the many ways that you can empower yourself and those around you to take action for women and girls in Forsyth County. And now for the good stuff. I'd like to introduce you to our speaker, Silvia Ramos. Silvia Ramos serves as an independent inclusion strategist and diversity professional, partnering with higher education and nonprofit organizations to assist them in achieving systemic equity and inclusive excellence. Her community involvement includes working with the National Association of Diversity Officers in Higher Education, the North Carolina Coalition Against Sexual Assault, and Women Advance. Past service includes serving on our very own board of directors for the Women's Fund of Winston-Salem, the Winston-Salem Foundation Committee, as well as being a founding board member of Interfaith Winston-Salem. She has also been a volunteer at Community Care Clinic and at the Children's Home. Ms. Ramos received her bachelor's degree from Florida Gulf Coast University and her master's in counseling and human development from Radford University. Please join me in welcoming my friend Silvia Ramos to the stage.
Thank you, Lamea. Thank you all for this opportunity. Thank you for the work that you have done. And most importantly, thank you for what you will accomplish with this year's call to action, Champions of Change, the Urgency of Now. Good afternoon. My name is Silvia Ramos. And more than anything, I consider myself a passionate and relentless advocate for building equitable communities. However, I'm the expert of nothing but my own experience. So when I was asked to speak on such a tremendously powerful call to action in a community I hold dear, I felt simultaneously inspired and overwhelmed. Now, let me be clear. I didn't feel that way because I don't know and see the very clear need for urgency in our individual and collective action, because I see it every day when I wake up and people are being killed, harassed, erased, and separated. I didn't see or feel that way because I didn't see myself as a champion, because I take daily risks and suffer the consequences that let me know I'm not a champion, the noun. I champion with and for the verb. And I've got the scars and victories to prove it. So here's where I got stuck with this call to action. I know why I must act urgently and champion for equitable change every day. Oppression and hate are alive and well in our country and in our communities. And people's lives are literally at stake. So my greatest weapon against that evil is my love for people and community. My love for a just community where we can all thrive with all of our differences and similarities is what drives me to live this call to action every day. But love is a powerful emotion. It's a lot to ask and a lot to give. Yes, we know it can be transformative. We know this from our own experiences with our loved ones and from cliches like love can move mountains. However, it is one thing to ask you to love family and friends, and quite another to ask you to love community. Loving family often requires less effort than loving strangers, with the exception of those few relatives we all have. But loving community filled with strangers and people we may not even like, now that's a lot to ask. And I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to do it because you said you wanted to be champions for change. And if you're going to do that, you're going to need powerful tools against the oppressive systems that will have you succumb to fear and silence. Now, before you start thinking that I'm going to break out into a melody of All You Need Is Love, let me stop you. Because if you know me, you know A, I can't sing, and B, that's just not me. So about 8 years ago, I had a series of experiences that left me feeling like I was not having meaningful impact in my community, no matter what I did. I presented data and statistics about inequities, informed decision makers about laws that made it legal to discriminate at institutional and individual levels for long periods of our history, but nothing was changing. I was walking away feeling weary, not seeing progress or change. Some of you know exactly what I mean because you've been at this for a while and you know the work intimately. In any case, I was weary from years of fighting systems that said some people mattered and others simply did not. Weary from systems that learned to adapt to say one thing, but did absolutely nothing different to improve the lives of the historically disadvantaged. And most of all, I was weary from all the people with good intentions who did nothing but try to convince me they were the good ones. They didn't create this system. They were neutral. All I could do was think about Dr. King's words. The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people. I knew something had to change. I had a decision to make: either keep doing things the way I was doing them and continue to feel weary and ineffective, or examine what was missing from my champion toolbox. Here's what I learned in that process. In the battle for justice, it is important for each of us to clearly define and develop an understanding of our role. And it is equally important for us to understand how oppression and love operate in that space. First, you must claim your role as a champion for community, or accept that your inaction makes you an accomplice to oppression. We cannot wait for some larger-than-life leader, someone we envision will have all the fortitude, courage, and know-how to challenge systems that uphold oppression and inequities. In the words of the late Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, We are the ones we've been waiting for. We don't have to know it all. We just have to learn and commit to building equitable communities where we can all thrive together. So claiming my role has meant when I show up, it is clear to people that I'm not asking for permission to be a champion, and I don't apologize for my voice. I'm reminded in the words of Audre Lorde that when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak. Here was my second lesson. Oppression operates in many ways to make us ineffective. It must be called out as a barrier to achieving equity. It is overt and nuanced, conscious and unconscious. I knew oppression firsthand, or so I thought. Among many things, I'm a woman of color who strives to be conscious about power and privilege, my own and others. I knew oppression seeks to silence anyone who speaks out against it. It aims to create fear. But I didn't know all the ways that it strives to keep us confused and weary. You see, I was being convinced that if people knew the data, the policies, the histories, surely we would want to change things. But the data, while important, is not new. It will not be the key to achieving equity or dismantling oppression. Oppression knows this data. It created it. Oppression has some of us women loving our oppressors. And that's where things get confusing. We get weary, and we may want to give up. Unless you discover that each of us has oppression's kryptonite, love. But not just any old type of love, not puppy love or I got a crush love. I'm talking about deep down in your soul love. Like you can't breathe love. Like I will never give up on this love. Like we will struggle together because it's worth it love. Like we saw each other's imperfections and we're uncomfortable, but we're going to grow in this love. Like we will make mistakes and we will sincerely apologize and learn, and that is not a pass because we are still accountable to each other, love. Like we love truth, love. I never said my definition of love was going to be easy. Ask my love of 20 years. But it'll be worth it. It will empower us to create thriving, equitable, beautiful communities. We will feel it, and we will see it. It can be achieved with that type of love. As a matter of fact, look at history's champions, and you will see that's the only way it's ever been achieved. Listen to the wise words of one of my champions, author and womanist Bell Hooks. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move toward freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. When we define love as inextricable from freedom, and my freedom is tied to yours, the urgency and motivations for our action become real clear. Those lessons about the power of love shifted how I carried my love for community in this work. You see, I was carrying my love for community in here, but not leading with my love for community out here. I was inviting people to work, not love, because I didn't understand the power of that shared value. If we commit to loving this community the way I have come to understand love, inequities and oppression won't survive here. So to be champions, I need you to love humankind. I need you to love the work. I need you to love the other. I need you to love the struggle. I need you to love the commitment and truth. Because without love, there is no humanity, no change, no progress, and most certainly no community. So I urge you to go forth and love. And I leave you with the words of the late Jimi Hendrix, who said, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." I love y'all. Thank you.
That was so inspiring. A couple of times I just wanted to go, preach, sister. It was powerful and provocative, and thanks for challenging us to be champions for change. Thank you so much. Now we've come to a special part of our program. Each year, the Women's Fund seeks to support organizations implementing programs that address the challenges women face in achieving economic security so that all women and girls have equal opportunities. The Women's Fund's unique membership model includes a diverse group of women and girls who come together and pool their financial resources to make grants to improve the lives of women and girls in our community. In addition to providing funding, members participate in the grant-making process by voting on the organizations and the programs that will receive funding. This year, 8 grantees will receive funding from the Women's Fund of Winston-Salem, totaling $110,000. And now, I am honored to announce this year's grant recipients. As I announce each organization, would a representative please come forward to the stage to accept your award from Gwen and Sabrina. Authoring Action. Authoring Action is awarded $15,000 for Girl to Girl, a program that offers life preparedness workshops and writing workshops. Preparedness workshops will help girls explore their struggles, dreams, and goals, while writing workshops will help girls improve their verbal and writing skills. Participants for the program will be recruited from Authoring Action's Summer Intensive Program and other girls who are at risk for low academic attainment. Crosby Scholars. Crosby Scholars is awarded $10,000 for the She Project, a program designed to use a holistic approach to address root causes of poverty. This project will guide African American and Latina girls in areas of concentrated poverty living in Forsyth County to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. The SHE program will work with MAP Forsyth to identify 7th grade girls who live in areas of concentrated poverty and attend Title I schools. Delicious by Shireen. Delicious by Shireen is awarded $15,000 to provide valuable economic opportunities to under and unemployed women in the refugee community and foster a shared sense of community between local residents and newly settled refugees. Refugee women will gain culinary skills that will translate into increased economic security while providing the opportunity to build strong relationships. One-on-one interactions provide opportunities for personable dialogue and the breakdown of barriers so that people can get to know each other and nurture an authentic and sincere sense of community. Lead Girls. Lead Girls is awarded $10,000 for the continuation of funding to recruit, educate, and support preteen and early teen girls, equipping them to navigate their teen years and avoid risky behaviors such as poor academic performance, substance abuse, sexual promiscuity, and teen pregnancy. The program targets girls ages 11 to 15 years old who reside in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. LEAD will specifically work with Wiley Middle School, Philo Hill Magnet School Academy, and Mineral Springs. Planned Parenthood South Atlantic. Planned Parenthood is awarded $15,000 to conduct educational programming that will help combat teen pregnancy. Programming includes Get Real, Making Proud Choices, Smart Girls, and the Health Improvement Project for Teens. Planned Parenthood will continue to provide resources that will help parents and caregivers support their teens through programs such as Parents Matter. Program participants will come from 3 main schools: Philo Hill Middle School, Mineral Springs Middle School, and Walkertown Middle School. Salvation Army. Salvation Army is awarded $14,685 for the Center of Hope Life Skills Program. This program hopes to address the causes of homelessness by empowering women and girls in their shelter through education and skill development to prevent future homeless episodes. Staff will develop programming based on the individual needs of each participant, and feedback from participants will help to enhance current programming. The Parenting Path. The Parenting Path is awarded $15,000 for their new Trauma-Informed Coping Practices program. This evidence-based approach will increase the resilience of life stressors such as trauma for families in the program. The Parenting Path staff will each be trained to work one-on-one with family members, helping them to develop coping mechanisms through mindfulness techniques that can be used to diffuse stressful situations as they occur. Understanding that seeking therapy is not an option for all women due to financial barriers, transportation, and childcare issues, this coping technique can be performed anywhere and is free of charge. And finally, YMCA of Northwest North Carolina. The YMCA is awarded $15,000 for RISE, which stands for Refugee and Immigrant Society of Entrepreneurs. RISE provides opportunities for refugee and immigrant women to learn skills and develop small businesses. Using the YMCA's Learning Center as a makerspace, women can craft, sew, and sell their goods and their products. RISE is part of the WISE Adult Literacy Program and is designed as a strategic value proposition that facilitates the primary goal of the WISE ESL program, providing adults with language skills and soft skills necessary to obtain and retain employment. Funding will be used to improve business management skills, verbal and written communication skills, and sales opportunities. Congratulations to all of this year's grant recipients. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend your afternoon with us. I hope that many of you will join me as a member of the Women's Fund of Winston-Salem by reviewing the membership information on the Women's Fund's table as you leave. We also ask that you continue to financially support the Women's Fund at the level that is most comfortable for you. There are donation envelopes on each table. Volunteers are stationed as you exit to collect the envelopes. And finally, one lucky participant at each table will be able to take the lovely centerpiece with them. So please turn to the back of your program. If your program has a gold star, you are the recipient of a centerpiece. I hear a lot of happy people out there. Congratulations. I also would like to take this opportunity before we go, if I can have your attention. We're almost done. Almost done. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the excellent wait staff here. Did we not all enjoy our lunch today? These lunches are always so inspiring to me, and today's was particularly inspiring. I just love the message today. I hope that you will carry the thoughts and the spirit of this luncheon throughout the year. Thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon, and as always, we appreciate your company.